Hi there, Phil the Practical Gardener again. I'm filming this topic, which is cover crops, during autumn. Now you might have noticed if you watch my videos that over the summer I grow quite a lot of tomatoes, onions, beans, potatoes, and I actually preserve a lot of them in different ways. I store the onions and the potatoes away. I make the tomatoes into pasta sauce, tomato sauce and such like, and I bottle beetroot and also bean preserves and such like. Then through the winter I grow a limited number of crops, mainly salad crops, brassicas such as broccoli and cabbage, and also leeks, which are just coming on now nicely. So most of my garden isn't really needed for vegetables. So what I do is I actually cover it with what is called a cover or green crop. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And the bed behind me that you can see, I'm just transitioning over to that. So I'll talk about this a little bit as we go along. You can see there that I've harvested my potatoes and I've now got the first of my cover crop growing. There's still actually a few sunflowers. You can see the stalks of them there. I've left them there because I have greenfinches still collecting seed from the plants, and they look pretty as they perch on the sunflowers. So let's talk a little bit about cover crops. I'll start off by talking about the benefits, and then I'll discuss how you can develop and maintain and complete the crop. So first of all, the benefits. High levels of organic matter provided through the cover crops help to retain moisture and ensure good aeration and drainage in gardens. Almost all vegetables benefit from copious amounts of decomposing vegetable in the soil. My favourite is actually borage, which isn't actually included in most cover crop mixtures. However, I do find it very good for providing copious amounts of organic matter and growing very easily. In fact, I allow it to self-seed, and you can see here that they're just coming up. I've got a number of borage that have just simply self-seeded by themselves, and also there's nasturtiums and a daisy and other plants which I'm allowing to grow amongst the crop remnants. The ultimate stage of decomposition is humus, a key storage site for both nutrients and moisture. Secondly, nutrients. Cover crops scavenge nutrients from deep in the soil, making them available for the following vegetable crop. Leguminous cover crops such as lupin also fix nitrogen from the atmosphere. Thirdly, soil protection. Cover crops shield the soil surface from the damaging effects of sunshine and rain, preserving the soil structure by providing physical protection and insulation through the winter. Finally, weed control. Covering the soil surface prevents weed seeds from germinating, reducing the need for cultivation over the winter months. Next, I'll discuss some of the main varieties that are grown in cover crop mixtures. Firstly, mustard. Decomposing mustard remnants suppress nematodes or roundworms. Mustard is in the brassica family, so if you have a risk of clubroot in your soil, it would be best to avoid using it. Secondly, lupin. As a legume, lupin harbours nitrogen-fixing bacteria in nodules on its roots. After the lupin is returned to the soil, the nitrogen gradually becomes available. Then oats. Oats and other members of the grass family produce copious amounts of root and top growth, adding valuable organic matter to the soil. Now I'll discuss how you can manage your cover crops through winter. Firstly, preparation. Remove the remnants of the previous crop and any weeds. This should be composted or spread as mulch. Of course, I simply spread it over the ground in my chop and drop regime. Next, cultivation. You only need to cultivate the ground shallowly and rake the surface to a bit of a tilth. No cultivation at all is required if you use the no-dig method. Thirdly, sowing. Sow the cover crop at the rate recommended on the packet. Broadcast the seed lightly in one direction, then a second time in another, to ensure even coverage. Rake the soil over lightly, ensuring that the seed isn't drawn to one side. Thirdly, watering and weed control. If the soil is dry, you may need to water the garden. Perform weed control during the establishment stage if necessary. Next, the development. Allow the crop to develop through the winter months with as little disturbance as possible. Some weeding may be required, but weeds effectively become part of the cover crop. And of course we avoid walking on the wet soil as much as possible over winter, as it would destroy the soil structure. Finally, chopping and incorporating. In late winter, when the plants are full-sized, you can chop them up with a line trimmer or hedge clippers to speed up the decomposition process. Leave the remnants on the surface as a mulch or fork them into the soil, depending on your preference in future crops. Early stages of decomposition will result in a net reduction of soil nutrients, particularly nitrogen, but soil fertility will increase after a few weeks. In fact, I always leave all my crop remnants, including cover crops, on the surface as a mulch. They will eventually leach their nutrients into the soil as they decompose and provide the other benefits of mulch. So this is the end of this topic. I have done a range of different videos on aspects of vegetable growing. I thought I'd actually finished them, but then I forgot that I had this cover crop one. So this is the final one. I suggest you look at them all because they provide a holistic and integrated approach to vegetable management. I've done a range of topics, as you can see, from the most productive crops for small gardens, companion plantings for vegetable gardens, and a range of others. I've also done a range of specific vegetables, and over time I will complete the rest of them. Also, of course, look at my other tips which I've provided. Now, I have done a range of ones on soil management. In fact, I've used some of the same clips for this video as I have done for some of them, because they are closely related. So I do suggest that you look at the playlist of soil topics to get a more full picture of how to manage the soil in your vegetable garden. Now, don't forget to share this channel with others if you think they may be interested or get value from it. And also, of course, like this tip. As always, thank you very much for watching this particular one right through to the end.